I live in a terraced house, which is divided into 2 flats. Yeah. Hello?
Is that the question?
No, it's not the question. I'm just giving you an introduction so you can imagine what it's like.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the first floor, and my ground floor neighbor has installed a camera exactly in the window, bay window, which is a big camera overseeing our shared front garden and possibly pavement and part of the road.
Oh, that's great for security, isn't it?
Well, he asked for security against burglars, but I don't think so, because he has been harassing me for quite some time, and I believe that is partly to follow my movements. And if he wanted to, I believe, to prevent burglary, he could put camera in the inside wall and direct it to the window from inside. He doesn't have to cover everybody's movements outside.
But wouldn't are you talking about he's tracking your movements in sorry, George, pause a sec. Are you talking about he tracks your movement in a shared front garden?
I believe he does, yeah.
Okay.
The camera is
if he
there,
had a
can
camera
see
on an
everything I
inside
do.
wall pointing outside through his window, wouldn't it similarly track your movement in the shared front garden?
No, he wouldn't if he had it on the wall opposite the window, just projecting on the window itself. He couldn't see everything. He couldn't see anything.
If he couldn't see everything, what's the point of the camera? It wouldn't be a very good deterrent, would
It's the camera to prevent anyone who comes to the window and tries to open it.
Right, but surely somebody who... So you're saying he should erect a camera on an internal wall,
yes,
pointing out through a window that might be wet.
The inside of the window.
Yeah, no, that's not going to wash, George. First of all, no one can be required to put a camera on an internal wall. That's just silly, with respect. Second of all...
inside of his room.
Right.
Or, alternatively, to have it outside, but directing it to his property only, to his windows, not to the shared property or somebody else's pavement or street. That's
okay.
not
I've had questions like this before, and people get very, very upset about being filmed, and I kind of understand it and kind of don't.
Extremely, yeah.
What are you trying to hide, George? What don't you want him to see?
That's not the point. That's not the point. The point is my privacy. I want to be free from being watched or controlled.
But if he could watch you, he could stand in the window and watch you anyway, couldn't he?
I don't mind that, but it's constant. He can record me. He can constantly follow me from, even if he's connected to internet, he can follow from anywhere he is.
Have you thought of wearing a mask and then he might not know it's you?
No, that's not the point. You seem to not understand the human feeling that nobody wants to be watched and controlled.
Okay. So what's your question? Is he allowed to mount a camera on the external wall for the purpose of prevention of crime?
What I'm saying is, from what I understand, he can put the camera on the outside wall, pointing the camera towards his windows, not towards the shared property or anybody else's property.
But doesn't he want to have the camera scanning the front garden so he can see anyone coming into the property? Isn't that reasonable?
He wants that, but I object to that.
Okay. George, let me
tell
tell you what the law is on this, because I appreciate the strength of your feeling here, and I do understand. I am teasing you a little bit. I hope you don't mind, but I do understand
I don't mind.
I do understand why you object. People are allowed to mount security cameras for the prevention and detection of crime. They're allowed to. What they're not allowed to do is use it to stalk a neighbour. The courts will generally say that as long as he deletes the footage within a reasonable period, typically 24 or 48 hours, and doesn't store it forever, he's allowed to do that. That protects him, because if there's a burglary, he can go back 24 hours and look at the footage. And it protects your privacy because he's not storing that footage forever. Now,
who can control that? Who can know that?
Well, you can't. This is the problem. But you can ask him, or I'm guessing you don't talk to him, George. Is that right?
No, we don't talk.
Okay, you can write a letter to him and ask him. Fundamentally, you can go and get a court order forcing him to delete it after 24 or 48 hours. But the judge isn't going to sit in his front room looking at his video recorder or his hard drive once a week. It's very, very difficult to enforce, George, and I'm afraid I don't have a magic answer for you.
But let me just ask you the last time. Would it not be more logical that his camera is pointing to his window only? And his property, his flat only, not to the shared one.
Wouldn't it be more logical if you moved? I mean, you can do whataboutery for years. What about this? What about that? The fact is, he is allowed to mount an external camera, I'm afraid.